right, let's go over to a more quiet spot so we can talk, and I'll tell you what's going on. It's a great song, by the way. And how's it going? So, as you guys may know, we are currently in the midst of this 24-hour content marathon. Taking a couple breaks. This is the third stream. Actually, fourth stream, I guess, so far. I was going to do this stream outside, actually, by the Detroit River, because it was, or today, it turns out, is International. Here a second. I like this song, by the way. And how's it going? This is very hard to do. I always forget how hard it is to wheel with coffee. Yes, I am in a wheelchair. This is my wheelchair. Her name is Gwendolyn, for the record. In just 1 second, I'm almost there. This is very difficult. Please hit like and subscribe. So, let me tell you the story of what happened and why I'm here at Caesars Windsor, as I try to find a place to rest for a couple. Doing this all at once is really hard. Yes, welcome everyone. This is a great song, by the way. Okay, I'm gonna go here. This is good. Can you hear me well, see me well? That's my bigger question. So, I was going to go, hello Curtis, I was gonna go and do a stream at the Detroit River. Why? Because A, it's beautiful. B, it helps keep me awake during these marathons. And C, it was a chance to be next to water and stone in honor of UNESCO's World Heritage, UNESCO's Day celebrating underwater heritage. Basically all the archaeological sites that are underwater that we have found. However, as I was going to the river, I ended up getting stuck in a storm. I did not want to be in a storm live streaming, so I came to the casino. A, because it was dry and safe, and B, because they have free coffee, which I need, and they have good music. And you know what? Why not celebrate good music? Thank you for the sparkles, Curtis. It's always coffee time. And so I still want to do a stream at some point in this 24-hour period by the river because A, it's beautiful, and B, and more importantly, I do want to celebrate all of the archaeological sites, all of these stone monuments and Masonic monuments that are presently underwater. There are more than people might think, at least stonemasonry. On top of that, so I do want to do that for sure. Also, I think we in Freemasonry need to spend more time celebrating UNESCO. Not the United Nations itself. People have their own opinions on that. But I think we need to spend more time celebrating our World Heritage Sites, of which Freemasonry is a big part. And thank you for the sparkles. Once again, 50% of all of the revenues that I receive over the next 24-hour period will be going to the Masonic Medical Research Institute. So technically, right now, half a cent is going to them. That also includes, though, all of the ad revenues I receive, as well as all of the super chats and any advertisements I receive across my different channels, specifically, my Facebook, my Medium, my Patreon. Doug Dean, I assume you mean I look very handsome. Motivation for what? Starve E. Ari. Please hit like and subscribe, by the way. I'd be much obliged. I love this song, by the way. This is one of the best songs ever. Yeah, very often after midnight you get some very interesting people hanging out. Hey, it's part of it though, right? So it keeps things interesting. We probably won't get. It's interesting when it's live music. We don't always get copyrighted, so we might be fine with this music. We'll see. But even with the copyright strike, if you still, or copyright notice, if you still do super chats and likes and subscribes. Starve, that is very true very often. I think you're new to the stream. Did you hit like? Did you hit subscribe? And do you have any questions about Freemasonry? The purpose of this channel is usually to promote the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which we're located, as well as discussions on topics of Masonic interest, and on top of that, to turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession. So, Starve, let me know if you got some questions, as well as everybody else who is watching this. You think Freemasons, who is him, Starve? Me? I assure you the Freemasons have not been guarding me. I think some of the Freemasons wish I'd talk less, to be honest. Kep, I do not remember the name. I should, because Kep is very not specific, or very specific, but I don't think I remember the name. But welcome back nonetheless. I also don't remember Exxon Nan. But I get a lot of people coming through. On this day of streaming, I've probably had close to 1,000 people. So I'm very sorry if I forgot you, but please hit like and subscribe. Do I believe in synchronicity? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I think mostly what synchronicity boils down to is all of us being prepared and doing our best in difficult circumstances. Like, if I work hard, study, try to keep myself physically fit, then I may come into a time and period where that fitness is of advantage to me. That doesn't mean it was like fated, if that makes sense. I am not at a Masonic event currently, airline pilot. I am at the Caesars Casino. I wanted to go outside and stream in front of the river in honor of Underwater Archaeology Day, but it started to storm, and I did not want to get stuck in the storm, so here I am instead. I mean, no, Gentle Flower, I think that's just coincidence. I don't think there's anything wrong with that as a coincidence, but I think that's just coincidence. That doesn't mean, though, we can't be grateful for coincidences and can't hopefully find a way to, I think sometimes just because something is a coincidence doesn't mean it doesn't have a value to it as well, and doesn't mean we can't be grateful for it. Wait, we got Your Local Spurs Fan? Oh, we got Your Local Spurs Fan is back. Hello, welcome back. Coincidences are nice sometimes, Gentle Flower. Like, I'm grateful that you're here, whether it's a coincidence or whether it's the YouTube algorithm or who knows what. I'm still grateful that you're here. I like this song as well. Jesse's Girl is a good song. Just hanging out. Well, good to have you back once again, Gentle Stream. Five-headed, we're just hanging out, chatting about Freemasonry. I don't have any specific talking points for this one. I was going to talk about the underwater archaeological day, or underwater archaeological celebration. However, it started to storm, so I decided to come inside for some shelter, listen to some good music, and drink some coffee. Okay, well, welcome back, Gentle Flower. I'm hoping you're a subscriber. My favorite song is Simple Man by Leonard Skinner. Now, keep in mind, Gentle Flower, YLSF, any revenues from this stream, that includes ad revenue, that includes super chats and gifts, all of those things, 50% of the revenues will go to support the Masonic Medical Research Institute in its efforts to support those who, to support research for cardiovascular disease, autoimmune disease, and neurocognitive conditions. Seraph, I'm no fan of Trump, but you need to calm down. Simple Man by Leonard Skinner, Seraph. It's so good. If you don't know that song, look it up after this stream. All right. I'm no fan of Donald Trump myself, but let's not be having any of this nonsense. Yo Maple is right. Please do not spam. Hello, Strategy Master. How's it going? Apple Yolk? I think you're new to the stream. Because I feel like I remember the name Apple Yolk. If you are new, welcome. Please hit like and subscribe. If you're not new, sorry for forgetting you. Greg, what's my story? Greg, I'm going to be a little bit more specific. My story is I'm a Freemason. I've been a Freemason for 20 years. I started Square and Compass Promotions to promote the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it's located, to share my love of Freemasonry, and also to turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession. Well, thank you, Apple Yolk, for being here. Check out my description to this video for my Patreon, Medium, Instagram. Like, subscribe, comment, all the things I'm supposed to say. Masons raised... Where, Tony? That's awesome. Masons do a lot of fundraising for a variety of variety of charities, including the homeless. So yes, Strategy. It's not been a 24-hour continuous stream. There's been breaks here and there. I don't do a full 24-hour continuous stream anymore. I do take breaks. I also switch channels, right? So I was on my personal stream for a while, youtube.com/@CameronAdamson, and now I'm back here on this channel. No, Wayne, we do not worship the devil. Freemasonry is not a religion. There's no worshiping of the devil. I've not written books, Bartholomew, but I have created written content about Freemasonry, specifically on Medium. You can find the link in the description to this video. Tony Tone, there are times when I love being a Mason. There are times when being a Mason drives me crazy. But I would say overall, I love being a Mason too. One of the things I love about being a Mason is, the jewels we have in our Masonic family, like the Masonic Medical Research Institute. Hello, Tokyo at Night. We were just talking about Japan on my other channel, and I would absolutely love to be in Japan. I think being in Japan would be incredible. Yeah, Leonard Skinner made Simple Man. Also, Leonard Skinner was covered by, or Simple Man was covered by Shinedown, who did a great job. I'm at the Caesars Windsor Casino. I went to grab some coffee because I needed some coffee. I wanted to go and stream in front of the river, but there was a storm. I had to get out of the rain. Yes, we do not eat babies. That is very true. Rich Ryder, please hit like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you guys are enjoying the. Well, I'm at the casino. I grabbed a free coffee. Again, with these 24-hour streams, I gotta kind of move around a little bit. I can't all be in the same spot for the whole time. That's for sure. Um, Yeah, I mean, I always suggest, even in a casino, I do Freemasonry. I'm always suggesting to people, and I think it's really important that we remember, like if you have a problem with gambling, if you struggle with gambling, then you shouldn't go to a casino, period. But if you don't struggle, and as a traveler and as someone who's always trying to save money, casinos can be great because they have free coffee, they have free drinks. Pop, soda, whatever it is. And there's been a few times where I've had, 7 or 8 hours to kill in a town before heading back on a bus. And the casino's been a lifesaver to get me some free coffee. Well, Rich Ryder, I believe there is Freemasons in Uganda, but I'm not aware of the Grand Lodge there. I mean, if you send me an email, info@squarecompass.ca, info@squarecompass.ca, I'll see if I can send you a link of any Masons in Uganda. The closest place I know for sure that Freemasons have a Grand Lodge is Kenya, which I'm not sure how far Kenya is from Uganda. But yes, Andrea, I'm a Mason. I've been a Mason for 20 years. I can talk about being a Freemason. What's wrong with that, Andrea? Well, there you go, Gentle. As long as you don't have a problem with gambling. I mean, human beings need to join things, Andrea. I would say if you're not joining something, you're trying to live your life alone, you're not going to have a good one. Whether it be joining a church, or joining a football team, or joining a sports club, or joining a chess club, or joining a book club, or joining Freemasonry. Join something. When you say you take an oath to not Jesus, if you're a Christian Freemason, you're taking your oath to Jesus. If you're Muslim Freemason, you're taking your oath, I suppose, to Allah, or whatever your beliefs would be. I mean, so Epstein was not a Mason. He did not practice our rituals or use our symbolism, at least not to any of my knowledge. Freemasons take the same oath, but their supreme being is different depending on their religious beliefs. And by the way, that's not true either. The oath you take in Ontario is not the same as the oath you take in Texas. It's got the same basic principles, but Freemasonry is jurisdictional. It's different depending on which jurisdiction you're in. Once again, Rich Ryder, shoot me off an email. I need to double check and look up the specific locations or the Grand Lodge in Uganda. I don't know it off the top of my head, and I don't have my computer here. Many Masons are Christian. That is true. Wayne is incorrect. There are many Christian Freemasons, and many Muslim Freemasons, and many Jewish Freemasons, etc., etc. That's really cool, Faith and Sawdust. That's also a really cool name. I like your name, Faith and Sawdust. Why do you say that, Andrea, as someone who's been a Mason for 20 years? To my knowledge, open your eyes, bro. One Rothschild was a Mason. I think his name was Nathan Rothschild. So, I mean, Freemasonry is so ubiquitous back in the day. It doesn't shock me. A lot of people join Freemasonry for a variety of reasons. Faith and Sawdust, please hit like and subscribe. Open your eyes, please hit like and subscribe. Andrea, you don't know what you're talking about, but please hit like and subscribe nonetheless. Skywalk, I've never understood what that means. Like, why do you... Like, Freemasonry is not a master you serve. At least if you're a Christian, you would serve Jesus. But, like, you can be a Christian and you still have to serve your employer. You still have to serve the police when they come knocking at your door. you still have to serve your, your housing association. Like the idea that, I, you know, granting someone else through democratic means authority means you're no longer a Christian makes no sense. I don't understand where that comes from. That's never been something I've been able to figure out. I like this song. No, Bohemian Grove has nothing to do with Freemasonry, as Yo Maple said. The Freemason Christmas party was not at Epstein Island. So Rich Ryder, my email is info@squareandcompass.ca. Well, thank you, Faith and Sawdust. We've got a lot of religious people on this channel. I mean, I treat it like Freemasonry, which is I welcome all different religions and faiths to be part of this channel. So long as you're not disparaging other people's religious beliefs, as a general rule, you're good. I'm gonna be live for a while. I'm gonna be going back on and off, and I'm gonna be throughout my Masonic, throughout the next basically 13, 14 hours. I'll be on and off the stream. I may take a break, come back on, etc., etc. No, Rejoice, I'm not gonna do that. So none of that is true. The gate of hell will not stand. Masonry does not replace anyone's blood, including Christ's blood, with anything else. Masonry is Masonry. Your religious beliefs are your religious beliefs. So Freemasons, Freemasons, it's plural, right? It's members. Freemasonry is a civic institution or a social club that has existed for over 300 years. It evolved from stone Masonic guilds in the Middle Ages. The purpose, every Mason has a different purpose for joining, but at its core, the purpose is to spend time with other people, and to spend time with other people regardless of their race, ethnicity, or religion, or any other factor. Well, who cares about the 33rd degree? The elite summit of Freemasonry is the 3rd degree. That's the highest degree in Freemasonry. Scottish Rite is an appendant body. And so this obsession with the 33rds, it shows you not understanding what you're talking about. Be well and be wise indeed. Crowley was probably a clandestine Mason, to be fair. Oh, the old high up, or how high up am I? By the way, once again, if you are just joining us, please take a moment, hit like and subscribe, give a super chat, and don't forget, 50% of all the funds raised through gifts, super chats will go to the Masonic Medical Research Institute. There are charitable aspects. Freemasonry does a lot of charitable work in a variety of ways, but Freemasonry is not exclusively charitable. You can still be well engaged in Freemasonry and in theory not do any charitable work, because at its core it's a social club. But many Freemasons do engage in charity. Many Freemasons are civically minded. Can I say Jesus is king? Well, I just said it, but keep in mind, Andrea, I'm not Christian, so I may say Jesus is king, but it's not necessarily in conjunction with my religious beliefs. My supreme being is the rational nature of the universe as expressed through science and as expressed through geometry. Once again, Rich, I gotta look it up. I don't have my computer with me right now. info@squareandcompass.ca. We got a lot of Jesus Christ is King in the chat right now. My job is begging for me, more particularly begging that people support my channel as I try to become a content creator. My passion is begging for them because I love Freemasonry, and particularly I love the Masonic Medical Research Institute. Having said that, they don't need me begging for them. MMRI has got a lot of grants and is doing a lot of excellent work, but I want to help them out and support them. Houston Shriners, absolutely. Well, David says Alu Akbar, there you go. I mean, I can't speak for breeding anybody. That's a very weird way to say something to say, Andrea. When you say breeding, that seems very strange. Or, sorry, meddling and supplying. That's a really weird way to say it, meddling and supplying. I mean, I don't know what they're up to other than there's a single Rothschild that I know of that is a Freemason, Nathan Rothschild. I'm not aware of any other members of the family that were Freemasons. Can I say Christ is king or no? I just said it, Christ is king, but it's not something I believe. I'm not a Christian, right? I am, however, grateful for all of my Christian Masonic brothers, and grateful that they are part of my Masonic family. I just said it like 3 times, Andrew, but why do you want me to say it anyways? It seems very strange. And I'm not a demon. At least I don't think I am. Nor am I Illuminati. Illuminati hasn't existed for many years, almost 100. If not more. Or am I related to... I don't know who that is, F. Hoodie. Faith and sawdust, believe me, you get used to it. If you're going to be on YouTube, you got to get used to these things. And it's kind of the price you pay for playing baseball, right? I love creating content. I love talking about Freemasonry. I like being on YouTube in general anyways. And so if what I have to put up with is Andrea and her foolishness, then so be it. Believe me, I know she doesn't speak for all Christians. As someone who sits in Masonic lodges with many Christians and is, visited churches and all the rest of it, I know what she is. As 500 Link says, Freemasonry is not a religion. We welcome people of all different faiths, backgrounds, and beliefs. Tiny house, not in any real way, right? Primarily just as a way to scam people at this point. Who is Cheddar Bob? I mean, that's vaguely funny. I'll get added to the staff list. Aaron, I'm sure we got a few bots, but again, that's the interesting thing about like dead internet theory, right? Which is how many people on the internet, on Twitter, on Facebook are legitimate people? It's a fascinating question. I sometimes wonder about that with my engagement numbers. I do think YouTube is pretty good about making sure that engagement is at least somewhat real. For all I know, Andrea's a bot. Chosen ones? Freemasonry has no chosen ones. We're all equal in Freemasonry. I might be gross. That is very much a matter of personal preference. And if you think I'm gross, then that's okay. It's bot-pocalypse. I mean, dead internet theory is fascinating. Nobody's hailing Satan, Aaron, not on this channel, not in Freemasonry. I'm a demon. Andrea, personally, I think you probably need assistance and help. I would suggest you maybe talk to a counselor, a psychologist, or maybe talk to your religious leaders. Probably would be a lot better. Well, I'm not eating babies. Freemasonry is not a cult, and I have a supreme being, as is every Freemason. I might put you in timeout in a second, Andrea. You need to calm down a little bit. You as well, Wayne. We don't worship the devil. You can believe me or not believe me. Either one is fine by me. But if you repeat the same things over and over again, it just gets kind of boring very quickly. Not Andrea, and not, I think Wayne was the name. Galatia, you're right. Please hit like and subscribe. Welcome. I mean, a couple people believe me, but I'm happy for the engagement as always, but it does get tiresome after a time. I believe in a supreme being, Dennis, but I'm first to admit I'm not a Christian. Well, thank you, Galatia, and welcome back again. I say it a lot because, unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, I'm grateful that I have over 4,000, might have over 4,600 subscribers at this point. So I sometimes forget who's subscribed, but thank you. Maple deserves it, in fairness. Ken, hello, thank you for being here. Oh, I say it a lot. I say it all the time. It's funny, there's a big debate right now in YouTube circles about whether it's worth saying, like, please subscribe, like a subscriber if it turns people away all the time. Like, what's better, right? I mean, psychosis is real, Robert. The flavor of it, if that's the term you want to use, the particulars of it, sometimes it's religious. It can be different types of psychosis, but I think, unfortunately, sometimes religious psychosis can be a real thing. Yes, I'll say don't subscribe. There you go. Oh, millennials. That's true. I mean, who are you speaking to, right? The younger generations may be getting sick of it. The older generations may not know about it. Like, please like and subscribe does seem like a very millennial coded term, right? We all kind of grew up with it. You're either older millennials or even you're very, very young Gen Xers. Jesus Christ isn't foolishness, but you are foolish, Andrea. So no, Freemasonry wasn't created by Masons to rebel against the caste system. Freemasonry I don't even think you can use the term invented. It's not really like Freemasons sat down and said, or stonemasons, excuse me, sat down and said, we're going to invent this thing called Freemasonry. It's more like stonemasons saw the ability to bring in a social aspect to the guild or to the trade unions and started to invite non-stonemasons to join their guilds as members, and over time more people found it interesting and had a desire to join, and it just kept kind of growing from there. Like the best things, it almost happened without design. We try to be chill if we can. What degree? At least, Dan, you asked the right question. I am a 3rd degree Master Mason, which is the highest degree in Freemasonry. I'm also 18th degree Scottish Rite. I'm also currently the Worshipful Master of Border City Lodge 554. No, Paul, Jewish people did not start the Masons. Jewish people can be Freemasons, but Freemasonry started in Scotland and England in the 16th and 17th centuries. I am not 33rd degree. But 33rd degree is not important, Dan. This weird obsession with 33rd degrees, I don't get why people love it so much. Yo Maple is correct. What I am is 100% handsome, though, Bill DeSmet. No, Paul, I mean, like, first of all, I don't know by original members. The first Grand Master was Anthony Sayer, who I believe was Presbyterian. James Anderson, who wrote the Constitutions, was a Presbyterian minister. The first speculative Masons we know of were brothers out of Scotland. They were probably Protestant, I would assume. What do you mean, why? I mean, King Solomon and Solomon's Temple are important symbols in Freemasonry, but they're symbols, they're not literal. Freemasonry didn't start until 1717 or 1634, right? I mean, King Solomon's Temple, if it existed, was about 2,000 years before that. Freemasonry predates the American Constitution, right? Like, Freemasonry, started before, but famously, George Washington was a Freemason. Ben Franklin, Paul Revere, John Hancock, others that I always forget their names. Um, um, well, SCP, welcome. I mean, so it is fascinating. I agree how, like, Freemasonry started before, but certainly there's no question that a lot of ideals within Freemasonry um, made their way into the United States Constitution. I mean, I would say the main ideal is the ideal of democracy and how important democracy is, um, and people being represented, and the idea that authority derives from the consent of the people, not from like divine right, for example. YLS. Okay, I mean, I appreciate it. Just copy me on it. Just say nice things about me. I'd really appreciate it. So the mod, yeah, 1717. Again, I usually go with 1634 Galatia, to be honest. I think that's probably the better date. 1717 is the formation of the first Grand Lodge in England. 1634 is when, if I recall correctly, I think that's the right date, is when the first speculative Masons we know of joined a Masonic lodge. Andrew, you're going to get yourself timed out in a second. You need to calm down. There is a 33rd degree. 33rd degree is I use the term honorary degree, but I've been told Scottish Rite Masons don't really like that term. They prefer invitational degree. I mean, you can pick your term. 33rd is part of the Scottish Rite, but it's not the highest degree in Freemasonry. The highest degree in Freemasonry is the 3rd degree. And by the way, Andrea, I can't wear red shoes because I have no legs. I have no feet to wear these red shoes of which you speak. It's more because you keep repeating the same nonsense, which detracts from the chat, right? It's kind of like, if I just followed you around and, yelled at you, you're foolish, you might get annoyed by that as well. It's like not that interesting after a while. I mean, Tiny Homestead, America was founded on individualism. I think people can debate back and forth what America was founded upon. I mean, it's not exclusively Masonic ideals. It's Enlightenment ideals. It's religious ideals in some senses. But I think Freemasonry certainly has its fingerprints in kind of the founding of America. It does with a lot of countries. The Philippines, Colombia, Canada. I mean, Orthodoxy is that? Are you basing that on Rome? The triumphs? Orthodoxy, if you want to follow me around and tell me I'm only a man, believe me, I'm already well aware of that. Thank you, Anne Sebastian. I don't know if I'm a good guy or not. I try to be, but I don't always succeed. Andrea, I just think that you're just mentally unwell. I guess I can't convince you that I'm a human or not a human, but I don't think you being here is doing anything good for your mental health or for yourself. YL, your local Spurs, I don't think she's trolling. I just think she's mentally ill. And I think being here is not good for her. I'm going to put her in timeout. If she calms down a bit and at least accepts that I'm a human being, she can come back on. But you're kind of freaking me out a little bit, and I'm worried about your mental health. So let's give you 5 minutes to calm down. W on the edit. Nice, Yo Maple. I'll check it out. Well, Orthodoxy, I would already know that as well. I'm well aware I shall return to dust. In fact, within Freemasonry, one of the things, I like this song, that they remind us of is we are mortal and we're not going to be around forever. And I think that's a very good thing to remember all the time because it helps us, A, be grateful to be here on earth, and I am grateful to be here and to be alive, and also that we have a limited amount of time. And part of that means being grateful for the time we have, and part of that means trying to take advantage of that time to do some good for those around us. Sorry, Cosby. Sometimes I gotta kick people off. In that case, it wasn't even so much for me or for the chat. It was for her own mental health. I think that she was getting more and more worked up seeing me. And I can't, tell her what she wants to hear, which is I'm a demon. because I'm not a demon, for the record. Don't edit that. But I can't tell her what she wants to hear. And so, in that circumstance, keeping her on the stream, all it does is make her more and more upset. Doesn't do anybody any good. Well, thank you, Cosby, for subscribing. You can ask me some personal belief questions. Faith in sawdust? Sure. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that in different religions, and I agree. Like, I agree with the premise of it. I don't think there's any, that as much as I like to think I'll live forever, I shall not, and that's okay. I don't necessarily even would want to live forever. I think it's the temporary nature of life that gives it meaning and value. Ooh, Tiny, I wouldn't say above all else. I would question that a little bit. Certainly that's part of it, but that's not exclusive. I would say equality was a big part of America's founding, for example. Fair enough, Cosby. Do I believe Jesus was a real historical man? Yes. Not, I mean, if you ask me to go percentage-wise, so I would say I don't believe in 100% and 0%. I think that's a dumb way to view the world. I'm 99% sure Julius Caesar was a real historical man. I'm let's say 80% sure Jesus was a real historical man. I'm 10% sure that King Solomon was a real historical man. So those are my ranges I'm working on. I'm not 100% convinced, but if I had to bet, I'd bet he was a real man. I mean, I appreciate that, Dennis. I think if you're apologizing to me, I mean, I'm grateful that you're here. I just don't want anybody being here and freaking out and thinking they're talking to a demon. It's not healthy for anybody, probably. There's not a sufficient, and I'm a Freemason, keep in mind. King Solomon is a very important figure to Freemasons, metaphorically and allegorically. I just don't think there's sufficient evidence for him. I mean, there's not really any good archaeological evidence even for King Solomon's temple. Outside of the Bible, there's almost no other sources. I did read some interesting research about Mediterranean trade routes that all seem to, at the same time, around when King Solomon's temple would have existed, all seem to divert to that area and bring supplies in. So that does lean in its favor, which is why I put it at 10%. I kind of view King Solomon as a Priam figure, Priam being the mythological king of Troy. I think Troy existed. I'm sure Troy existed. I don't think there was a Priam. In the same way, there's probably some type of great structure and great building on Mount Moriah, the first temple, but I don't believe Solomon would have been a real figure. He was probably a legend. Marquis, King Solomon 500% existed. Well, there you go. Dan, well, that's possible. I don't really know. There were I once discovered an old house that was actually a Masonic building, which was really cool to see it be converted to that. It was a Masonic building that was converted to a house. It was fascinating to see. Faith in sawdust. So I'm not Christian, right? So I don't believe in the supernatural, in miracles, from any faith. I respect all faiths. To be a Freemason, you must believe in a supreme being. My supreme being, I believe, is the rational nature of the universe as expressed through science and expressed through geometry. So I don't believe in the supernatural, such as, a virgin birth or things of that, or the miracles. Hello, modern welfare. Faith, Solomon could have existed. It's not impossible. I just find it unlikely because there's so little evidence for him. outside of one source. And when you have a single source, I question it. Like Jesus was mentioned in sources outside of the Bible, right? He was mentioned by several Roman writers. If I recall correctly, there's also some inscriptions indicating as such. So, um, I'm more comfortable with him. With Solomon, I don't know what we have outside of the Bible, and some highly questionable archaeological evidence, in my opinion. Um, let's see. Sorry. So going back, the gate of hell will not stand has stated a lot of things. Um, Good heavens. I gotta read all this. I don't think I can go through it all. So, yes, Scottish Rite is more of a theatrical production, but you need to be really careful of the gates of hell, because, I mean, a lot of craft ritual is created as plays. It depends on whether you're emulation or York, or Preston Webb, I should say, right? Like in emulation ritual, our rituals are really not set up as plays. They're set up as a series of lectures almost. I think they're really beautiful. In Preston Webb or American, they are much more theatrical, even right from the get-go. Um, I mean, those can be central symbols within the Scottish Rite. Um, I'm not a big fan, the gates of hell, of you using the term Christian adjacent vocabulary. You could argue it's religious adjacent vocabulary. I mean, faith, hope, charity, sacrifice, those are not unique to Christianity by any means. I'd be very hesitant about that. You can find them across multiple faiths, and not even faiths, just multiple organizations. Um, the I mean, also your obsession with Scottish Rite, I'm not really sure where that's coming from. The foundation of Freemasonry is craft lodge, not Scottish Rite. Um, Freemasonry may have secret words, grips, and passcodes. I neither confirm nor deny. Find out by joining. But anything we do have in that, what would be called modes of recognition, the purpose of which is to create bonds of brotherhood and fellowship through shared experience and shared knowledge, which is also part of the rituals. Um, I don't believe in ghosts, no. I mean, Dan, I would love to see your house, because that sounds incredible. Aaron, I don't believe Hercules existed, no. Because I think, Yo Maple, it's the YouTube algorithm, right? YouTube sends people here if it thinks they would have an interest, and I think, unfortunately, YouTube thinks that Freemasonry is a religion, and as such sends people with religious beliefs here. Um, so, and then it kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because the people who, they believe Freemasonry is a religion, so they keep saying it, which trains the YouTube algorithm to bring more religious people my way, which just continues it, right? It's the self-fulfilling prophecy of it. That's true orthodoxy, which is why I highly suspect most ancient figures are not, did not exist. Like, I don't think Romulus or Remus existed. I don't think that Lycurgus existed. I would say, for a ancient historical, I don't think Priam existed. I don't think Agamemnon existed. I think, and it's hard to say what is the first, but I think a lot of these ancient historical figures were probably legendary, and not literal. We know there were kings and such, and maybe you could say, who cares what the name is? But, for example, was the first king of Rome a twin who fought his brother in battle, after their mother put them in a basket and sent them down the river Tiber to be, suckled by a wolf type of thing, I'm Anglican as well, Dan. Nothing's wrong with that. I mean, I'm Anglican by birth. I'm not one who believes in a supreme being per se. I just got a big forehead, Buck. What can I say? Um, what is the one important thing I learned being a Mason, Robert? Hello from Iceland, Joe. Please like and subscribe. The value of temperance. Temperance is incredibly important, and it's something I really struggle with. I have a tendency very often, um, I have a tendency very often to, when things are going well, I get very happy, and when things are going badly, I get very despondent. And Freemasonry reminds me that when things are going well, they go well. When things are going bad, like when things are going well, I shouldn't get too confident because I could have a setback tomorrow. And when things are going badly, I should not get too sad because things go well tomorrow. Orthodoxy, I don't mind you being here, but you're not going to have any of those comments. In this channel, you can believe what you want, but in this channel, you can be Catholic, Orthodox, Protestant, or evangelical, and you are a true Christian. At least we won't tell them whether they're true Christians or not. That's not how it works. Aaron, I mean, there is some proof of Jesus's life. Now, we don't have as much of it, which is why, for example, when people ask me, how sure I am that Jesus was a real person, I say 90% or 85%, whereas I'm 99% sure Julius Caesar was a real person. Yes, that is the main thing. It is not a cult for a variety of reasons, but the main, Orthodoxy, now you're just trolling, but I'll live with that. Jeremy, I'm at the casino. I went to try to go to the river to do a stream there because today is International Day of Underwater Archaeology or Underwater Monuments through UNESCO. Freemasonry is the story of stone and water, and these monuments of stone underwater is really cool. And so I figured do a stream by the river just for something different. Plus, it's cool, it's night, it's relaxing, but then it started to storm. So I ran to hide and I ended up in the casino. Plus I get free coffee. The music is just background music from the casino. I'm probably going to get copyrighted for this, but orthodoxy, that's kind of funny. So I'm going to laugh at that one. Zero and Frost, do I believe? No. I think the story just makes sense to people, right? We all understand on some level the idea of like the bigger guy versus the smaller guy, right? The giant versus the little dude, and the little dude overcoming it. It's human nature to enjoy that type of stuff. It just kind of is what it is. I'll see it, Rich, when I get the chance. Obviously, I can't check it out right now because I'm busy doing this. That's an interesting question, Faith and Sawdust. The main thing that keeps me from accepting, so you need to define accepting, right? Obviously, I accept Christianity in that, I'm happy to see churches go up. I'm happy for people to be Christian. I'm happy to sit and lodge with Christians. But if you're asking why I personally don't ascribe to the Christian faith, it's because I don't believe in the supernatural and miracles and things like that. I believe the world is rational and scientific, and I don't believe in those miracles. But that's my personal opinion. I know other people do believe in the supernatural or spiritual. It's just not something I believe in. I think I've seen too many people, not with religion exclusively, but have a belief in the supernatural and allow that belief to lead them astray. Like, for example, that lady calling me a demon, right? I think she believed in the supernatural, and that belief has allowed her to entertain ideas that are unhealthy for her and for those around her, probably. I will YLSF. I'll check them out tonight as soon as I can, but right now I want to keep this stream going. Um, I don't think human nature is very obviously created. I think human nature is probably evolved more than likely. Um, he does. Maybe Orthodoxy will enjoy my other channel as well. Yeah, just that is pretty funny. Orthodoxy is cool. I'll tell it to my Masonic brothers. Whoa. We're going to have to put you in a timeout in a second, the Austrian painter, because I suspect I know who you're talking about. And he was not a good dude. Also, um, not a good painter for that matter, but not a good person either. And he did not like the Freemasons at all. In fact, he put us in concentration camps. Really? That's awesome. Many people on this channel do. Many people in Freemasonry do. Um, well, why LSF? I mean, I I'm not ever smoked any substances or had anything to drink or anything like that. I would just say learn from your mistakes and try to do better. It's okay to make mistakes. It's not okay to make the same mistakes. I don't think they were. I mean, I've not seen all of his paintings, but what he was is a terrible human being. We can all agree on that one. Well, Lorna, that's a really hard question to answer because, like, if so, I mean, I don't know how to, like, it creates this kind of problem, right? Like, so if something, so famously, right, people who are psychologically struggling, like people who are mentally unwell, usually one of the hallmarks is they're unable to ask the question or consider that they're mentally unwell. One of my favorite books is, sorry, my favorite movies is called Bug, B-U-G. And it involves a person who's very mentally ill, who kind of sucks another person into his delusions. He is famously unable to question, like, his views. So to him, supernatural things are happening. He doesn't view them as supernatural. He views them as, but whatever, like unbelievable things are happening. But he's not able to question them or question his own mind. He just accepts them because he's not able to question what he is. He psychologically unwell. So if something supernatural were to happen to me and I were to perceive something supernatural, would I be able to question my perceptions, or would I be too far gone? I would just believe the supernatural without being able to question myself and, like, am I hallucinating, right? Um, I would probably, though, assume that it wasn't that I was mentally unwell. I would probably assume, if I'm able to think rationally, that something has happened which I don't understand, but which doesn't equate with the supernatural. So, for example, a few hundred years ago, a few thousand years ago, when there was an eclipse, when the moon passed in front of the sun, people didn't know how to describe it or understand it, so they ascribed it to the supernatural. Right now, they understand it was a natural occurrence. So I would assume if I did see something I couldn't explain, I would assume it's simply something that is not supernatural, but something that I could simply not explain with my current understandings of the laws of nature. So, I mean, for the virgin birth, for example, maybe, maybe an example would be, if I were to be alive at a time and I were to see someone who was, born of a virgin, maybe I'd assume there's some type of knowledge about the world and nature I don't yet understand that allows this to happen, or some evolutionary thing. I wouldn't assume it's supernatural. I mean, I appreciate that, the Austrian, but I'm still not a fan of your username. So let's maybe change that for the time being. Um, then go to sleep, YLSF. I mean, I'm grateful that you're here, but you're very, I don't want you to stay up if you're very tired, for heaven's sakes. I mean, reality in some ways is perception, or perception is reality, not literally, But in terms of how we act, very often we will act based on what we perceive versus what is real. Um, look up Fatima. I don't know who that is, but I can look it up. I don't have my computer with me, which is also why if anybody does a super chat, which I hope you will, I'll still not be able to do the text-to-speech app. I'm very sorry. I mean, I've heard of plenty of miracles, but my assumption is either it's a combination of mass psychosis, mass delusion, or something that we just cannot explain at this point. But just because we can't explain something doesn't mean it's not, at some point in the future, explainable. Oh, caffeine is very important. Anna, I think I just got it from my regular, perceptions of the world. But I appreciate you saying you think I'm wise. I am much obliged and grateful. I mean, I can't speak to all of them. I've heard stories of miracles. I'm just, I've heard a lot of stories of different things. I tend to be very skeptical. One day, Thomas, and when you say everything can be explained, we have to keep in mind, too, what do we mean by explained? I can explain on a literal level. Let me just see if I can get this sorted out. I can explain in a literal level, like a terrible tragedy. Can I explain it on an emotional level? That's where it gets a little bit more complicated. And I think that is also where a lot of people go for religion. It's, I can't explain this terrible tragedy that I've gone through, but I can at least try to take some solace and comfort from a religious explanation of some sort. Just having, espresso is so good. Welcome A and C back. Thank you for being here. Lorna, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not exclusive. Right now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I will say again, though, to everybody watching this, we are doing this as a celebration or a discussion on the Masonic Medical Research Institute. So, everybody watching this, please consider giving a super chat. 50% of the funding goes to the Masonic Medical Research Institute, and one of the things that includes is a celebration of, or one of the things that the Masonic Medical Research Institute does is research in neurocognitive diseases, which I understand sometimes relates to episodes of psychosis. Do I make money? I'm trying. I mean, not as a Freemason, but as a content creator. The purpose of this channel, right, is to turn my passion for Freemasonry into profession. I love talking about Freemasonry, and I want to be able to do it full time. Okay. I think I'm back. Yo Maple, can you see me? Can you guys hear me? Are we good? Okay, very sorry about that. Mr. Tyler, what is up? How are you doing? Sorry about the issue. Anna, if you're back, I'm going to actually order more coffee in a second. Believe me, I need more coffee. So, Andrea, like I said, my mom was a nurse. I am at the casino. I had wanted to do a stream outside by the river because today is, amongst other things, International Day to celebrate underwater monuments. through UNESCO World Heritage Site. And because of that, I figured go by the river, check it out. Freemasonry is the story of stone and water. But then there was a storm, and I had to come and hide in here so as not to get wet. And so here we go. And now I'm going to fall off this chair in a second. Oh my gosh. This is like... There we go. You have no idea how hard that was, for the record. I agree. I love this ceiling very much. And plus, for these 24-hour content marathons, I definitely need to kind of be here. So, orthodoxy, I don't believe gambling is a sin, but I do believe we need to be really careful when we are gambling. Like, I don't gamble. I've maybe gambled $5 on a slot machine in 5 years, but I do spend a lot of time here because they have free coffee, free drinks, and it's right next to my place. And I need to save every dime I possibly can. Honestly, actually, orthodoxy is cool. One of the things I've done in the past, and I really love to do, is we have here in Ontario, orthodoxy, I think you're from the States, if I recall correctly, but we have here in this casino what's called Play Smart, which is throughout Ontario. It is a service from the government that people can go to if they are struggling with gambling and get resources, help, and support. And I've actually had them do a couple of presentations at the Windsor Masonic Temple about the dangers of gambling and to recognize if you're at risk for losing money, for problem gambling. I guess you're always at risk for problem gambling, how to tell if it's becoming a problem, and resources to help you stop if you have to. It provides a lot of support for healthy use, and I think we as Freemasons should be supporting groups and organizations that do that. I mean, I think it's with a lot of different types of people. I mean, you may feel that way, orthodoxy. I don't agree with that, but I understand people do. Again, it wouldn't really affect me much, except I'd lose my ability to get free coffee and free drinks. But I don't gamble, I don't drink, so... hello from Croatia, Yasminka. Thank you for being here. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. But Anna, I don't disagree with you. If you are isolated, if you are lonely, then yes, you are at risk of developing a gambling problem along with other problems. And so, yeah, I'm happy to be here and remind people, just be careful, be smart. If you think you're developing a problem, get help ASAP, and go to PlaySmart. Well, the PlaySmart doesn't tell you what to do or not to do. You have free will, but it does tell you about some of the risks and the warning signs that you're developing a problem, and encourages you to take a break. They do not have a buffet. They used to. I mean, there's different levels to it. Orthodoxy, the idea of what the government should be able to tell you what to do and not. But it can't all come from the government exclusively. It has to be a combination of civil and civic engagement. If it's exclusively civil, meaning government, that's where rebellion comes from, right? You need to keep that in mind. The church should not run the government, orthodoxy. I guess that is two things where you and I will strongly disagree. And, every Freemason will have his own view of that. My suspicion is there are some Freemasons who would actually agree with you. But I do think in a very general sense, Masonry would probably, the ethics of Masonry would probably be more towards separation of church and state than otherwise. I love a good buffet as well. I mean, the obvious question there, orthodoxy is cool, is which church? I do not pack guns anywhere, nor would I want to. Please, by the way, if you're just joining us, hit like, hit subscribe, follow my channel. We're doing a 24-hour content marathon across a variety of platforms, a variety of locations. I mean, I suppose, of course, is of course. Don't forget to super chat, Patreon, all that good jazz. Make sure that you are supporting not just my channel, but in this case, the Masonic Medical Research Institute. Would be truly much obliged. I don't drink. So I cannot be drunk. I could, however, be very tired doing a 24-hour content marathon. Why not Freemasonry run it? As Yo Maple says, well, they offer free non-alcoholic drinks. You got to pay for alcoholic drinks. One of the things I learned a long time ago is the benefit of not drinking is I don't end up losing a bunch of money on drinks. I remember at the end of the night, my bill would always be so much lower than everyone else's bill. So my hair is fine, heavy. Please hit like and subscribe. Anna, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Look, I think Freemasonry encourages people to take personal responsibility. I think that's one of its greatest strengths, is that it encourages people to be responsible for their lives. Do you mean in terms of like having a gambling problem? I think it's a combination of factors. Yes, you need to take personal responsibility, but I think it's okay to admit when you need help as well. Whoa, orthodoxy. No talking to other people. I've banned people for talking to you, so you will get banned for telling people to grow up. Whether you say thank you or not does not matter. So you need to calm down a lot with that nonsense. Okay, orthodoxy. That's going to get you timed out. We're in timeout for 30 minutes. You don't get spoken to with respect because you're a man. You get spoken to with respect because you deserve it. So none of that nonsense. That gets you timed out. Yo, Maple, you get used to it. People are nonsensical in the chat, especially when we're doing these 24-hour streams. Some people would say because Freemasonry is a fraternity, it might support stuff like that. It definitely does not. So orthodoxy is cool, gets himself timed out. YouTube is rife with all this type of stuff. It just is what it is. You get used to it. And you kind of have to just grow to accept it. It's part of people being on YouTube. But I can still time out quickly if I so choose. I do not do any gaming, Rebar. I came here to hide from the rain and to get some coffee, which I need if I'm doing a 24-hour stream. Anna, I mean, there are Freemasons at Yale, but it wasn't established at Yale. It was established in England, or Scotland actually, around 400 years ago. I think you might be thinking of Skull and Bones. YLSF, get yourself to sleep. Sometimes I go quick, what can I say? That's a really good question, Lorna. So the way it works when it comes to opening a new Masonic lodge, the organization that has the authority is your Grand Lodge within your jurisdiction. So in Ontario, the Grand Lodge in Ontario. In New York, the Grand Lodge in New York. If you personally want to open a new lodge, what you need to do is you approach all of the lodges in your area, and you ask about would they be supportive of another lodge opening up in the area. If at least 50% of them agree and say yes, then you write a letter to your Grand Lodge and you say, we would like to start a new lodge. This is what we're going to call it. We have at least 7 people interested in joining. These are who they are. And you kind of go from there, right? But it's the Grand Lodge. Jenna. So every Freemason believes in a supreme being. The nature of that supreme being is up to each individual Mason. I believe in a supreme being. My supreme being is the rational nature of the universe as expressed through science and as expressed through geometry. And welcome, Jenna. Royal, I need to know more about you. First of all, I need to know how old you are. In Ontario, you need to be at least 21 years of age. In Michigan, at least 18. I would need to believe if you believe, I need to know if you believe in a supreme being. I could say you do. And then I would need to know if you want to join of your own free will and accord. That would be the basic start. And if you're to join regular Freemasonry, if you're a man. So you're of the correct age. By the way, Royal Mughal, please hit like. Please hit subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope that you will join. Or will join the channel, hit like and hit subscribe. Jenna, please hit like and please hit subscribe as well. I would really appreciate it. Know the outer limits, but we are at the casino. I ran in here to get out of the rain. I'm doing a 24-hour content marathon, so I needed to get to a place where A, it had coffee, and B, I could not be in the rain. I was going to stream at the river, but it ended up storming, so I had to run off quickly. I'm gambling for likes and subs and to get some more super chats in honor of the Masonic Medical Research Institute. Anna, I don't know if I try to be heaps interesting and intelligent. I don't know if I always succeed or not, but I do try my best. If you want to support this channel, a super chat is always super helpful. Liking, subscribing, all that stuff helps out big time, believe me. Sharing the stream with other people, that helps out big time as well, and I'd be grateful for that also. Thank you, Anna. That's very kind. I'm probably getting over 4,600 through this stream, so I'm grateful for that. Also, find me on Patreon, Instagram, all that jazz would help out big time as well. And eventually, I'm going to have to end this stream. I'm definitely going to need to get more coffee. Then I'm going to try to do some streaming from the riverside. And then maybe we'll take a break after. But I should get close to some water. I appreciate that, Lorna. I mean, I do have Patreon on the description to this video. Yes, as Yo Maple said, external links can be found in the stream description. So I hope you will check that out. But unfortunately, almost everything you do, you're going to get a cut taken somewhere, even PayPal. In this instant, I'm taking a cut because 50% of all my revenue is going to the Masonic Medical Research Institute. So there is that as well. Gester Gonzalez, I think you're new to this stream. Please hit like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you everybody for being here. I hope you are all doing well. We're just hanging out in the midst of a 24-hour content marathon. And anyways, any questions, thoughts, comments on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, please let me know. What is hiding? Is that a new gift? But thank you for that, Anna. I appreciate that very much. And yeah, all these gifts are also very helpful. Basically, any type of engagement. Julia, what is Freemasonry? Freemasonry is a civic club or civic group that has existed for over 300 years. Think about it like a club or an organization. Honestly, Lorna, my cat was a lodge cat for a bit. I gave it to a friend of mine to watch. I gave her to a friend of mine to watch. He lived next to the Masonic Temple. He was pretty much attached to it. And the cat ended up escaping. It was found later in the basement of the Masonic building. So, yeah, some lodges have like lodge pets. I've actually talked to Masons who have service animals, and they bring their service animals to the lodge. That happens a lot. And in fact, the service animal will receive amongst other things, a collar and apron, which is kind of a cool thing. Hello, monkey. Hey, engagement of any sort is important. Julia, please hit like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Yes, monkey 85. No worries, five-headed, and thank you for being here. This is one of those things where... And thank you for the star. Much appreciated. I think we're already mysterious enough, Lorna. But black cat would be nice. I love cats. I love animals. I've said it before. I like animals more than I like most people. So... whether you are, I've done a few Masonic haunted houses where we've had black cats in the haunted house, but not real black cats, made up black cats. Oh, the old degree question, Mikey. I am the highest degree in Freemasonry, which is 3rd degree. I am also 18th degree Scottish Rite. I'm also a past master and current master of Border Cities Lodge number 554. There is a lot of Freemasonry in Australia. It's a really cool part of Australia's history, all of the Freemasonry that you see there. Adelaide, I'm assuming Australia. We have 32 likes at the moment. There might be a gift of a black cat. See if you can find one in the gifts. I like Gargoyles. I think it was a great TV show, and I think it also would be a great part of the Masonic lodges when you see gargoyles on Masonic buildings. If I recall correctly, there's some in Detroit, but I have to double check that. I like that kind of Gothic architectural style. I think it's really cool. All right, I ordered some free drinks, but they're not on their way. So I'm going to see if I can go grab some, because I'm definitely getting very thirsty. Talking all this time, thirsty work. I am not playing slots, but I am at the casino because in the midst of this content marathon, I needed a change of scenery. I also needed free coffee very badly. Anna, I am in Canada. Born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Currently live in Windsor, Ontario. What about you, Anna? I'm assuming you're Australian, right? I will say this, it is hard to do this in a wheelchair, to wheel and hold my phone. It is not the easiest thing in the world. Hey, I love being a Canuck. Canada, I've said it a million times, the greatest country in the world, in part because we have the greatest neighbors in the world. I do want to say once again, this is very hard to do. Born in Texas, lived all over the U.S. Hey, I love Texas. There's a lot of cool Freemasonry in Texas as well, which I think is something I always love to talk about and share and celebrate. Texas Freemasonry is incredible. In fact, Texas Freemasons claimed the moon for themselves. Like, how crazy and amazing is that? That you could actually claim the moon. Because when Buzz Aldrin went up to the moon, he brought with him a Masonic flag, or Scottish Rite flag, and a Masonic charter from Texas. I'm from Texas and live in Toronto. Where in Texas, Royal? And also Anna, where in Texas? Again, because I was I was in Fort Worth, Dallas, and I also had the pleasure of being in a Masonic lodge in Gonzales, Texas. I'm just gonna get myself some caffeine. You're the Tyler? Or Tyler, Texas? Is there a place in Texas called Tyler, Texas? Hello, hot dog. Oh my gosh, see, that's fascinating, because in Freemasonry, the Tyler is responsible for guarding the door of the lodge from Cowans and intruders. And it's spelled with a Y.
Oh, it's shut down? Okay.
That is really cool. And how fancy is that? So Tyler's a town in Texas. I wonder if it was named after Freemasonry. I can't imagine that it was. But it would be so cool if that was the case. Okay, so it's not too far because I flew into Fort Worth, Dallas. Right, that's where I would fly into. Fort Worth, Dallas, the airport, because it's where the giant airport is. How cool is that? Small world for everybody. I have many foreheads. Got a big forehead. I've learned to accept it. What are, your favorite parts of Tyler, Texas, if you had to, say, like, when you think of Tyler, Texas, what are some of your favorite parts of it? Yeah, because no one else will love me, so I don't really have much choice but to love myself. As I try to get over here. Because I have a big forehead, as everybody always points out. And I'm a challenging guy. Hey, Lorna, I get used to it, believe me. If you want to be on YouTube and you want to try to turn your passion for Freemasonry into a profession through content creation, one of the things you're going to deal with is trolls. It's just kind of the price you pay for being here. So, it's okay. You get used to it. Lorna, it's okay. I don't mind him. I need to find a better spot now. I don't mind people trolling me a little bit. You get used to it. I'm at Caesars Windsor. I'm in the middle of this content marathon, producing streams and content for basically 24 hours. And a big part of that is got to keep busy and active while you're doing it. And also, I wanted to get some free coffee. After this, I'm going down to the river because I want to be near water to talk about some really cool things that are happening. Really cool day today, which is the it's UNESCO celebration of underwater historical sites and underwater heritage sites. You know, a lot of stone temples, stone buildings are underwater, are discovered underwater. And I want to talk about that. And, you know, I've said it a million times. Freemasonry is the story of stone and water. And so what better thing to combine the two than International Underwater Archaeology Day? Oh, I love coffee. Like, I genuinely don't think I could live without coffee. It's my favorite thing, by far and away. Is this gonna work? I think this might work. What I'm trying to do is find like a good place to... I should have brought my stand with me. Josh, well, if you are just kidding, you can hit like and subscribe. This is so annoying. And by the way, I know this is very choppy. This is what happens when you're in a wheelchair. And I gotta get like a GoPro or something I can just set my camera up on. All right, we're going here in just 1 second. So much work. All right. There we go. And there we go. And there we go. That took a lot of work, but I found a spot. And we are, by the way, 12 hours in. Not at all. I ran to get some free coffee, and then I grabbed a pop. If we're going to do these streams now, I can't just do them all from my place. I got to move around a bit. And at 2 in the morning, you're not going to find a lot of places open other than the Riverside, which I'm going to go to after this, and the casino. And yes, Super Mayo, you made it when you could. Rich, once again, if you send me an email, I will definitely let you know, because I don't know off the top of my head any lodges in Uganda. So, Josh, we'll do that after. First, hit like and subscribe. Now there's a shake. Now we've gone to the point where we're going to have a mayonnaise and Oreo milkshake. This is what we've come to. Did you hit like and subscribe, Josh, before you ended up right behind me? Because I think that's the better question. Anna, you get used to it. Believe me, you get used to it. But thank you, everybody, for being here. I truly, truly appreciate it. We are at the 12-hour mark of this 24-hour content marathon. This would be the 4th stream, I think, if I recall correctly. Let me see. I had my first 4-hour stream with the guests from the Masonic Medical Research Institute. Then I switched off and went back on to make the format work on my Square and Compass channel. That'd be 2. Then I switched to my personal channel, youtube.com/@CameronAdamson, which is 3. And then after that, 4th was here. No, Super Mayo, I will not. I will not at all. No, none of this is true, Super Mayo. You are ruining my stream with your love of mayonnaise. For heaven's sakes, people. Mayonnaise is gross. It's a disgusting condiment. I've been telling people that forever. No one ever listens to me. For heaven's sakes, whatever you do not drink mayonnaise. Do not brush your teeth with mayonnaise. It's terrible. And Super Mayo, if you ever become the junior warden of a Masonic lodge, meaning you're responsible for providing the food and beverage for the lodge, I will leave that lodge. I will show up to that lodge. I will ask to become a member and vote against you. No, Matt, no. Look at what you've started. They do, Anna, and that's horrible. I do not like mayonnaise at all. I've been to England, and no, you should not do that. People from England, you are wrong. I will eat sardines by themselves. Like, I will eat sardines by themselves. I'm not going to eat sardines with mayonnaise and Oreos, though. That is a problem. I do not know what Jennifer Mason is, Rich Rider. I think you might be trolling. I can't tell. Like I said, but if you want to know about Freemason Uganda, just shoot me off an email. info@squareandcompass.ca. And I will look and see if I can figure out where there is Masonic lodges in Uganda. I don't know where there is off the top of my head, though. I don't know what surströmming is, but I like sardines. I like anchovies. I like fish as a general rule. There's almost no fish I don't like. Visionary, I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Please take a moment to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And thank you for joining. I mean, I agree. Sardines with cheese is really good. I don't drink wine, but I do like sardines with cheese. Anchovies taste really good in sauces, but also taste really good on pizza. Well, I don't like rotten fish. I think I've actually heard of that. I think, what's his name? Anthony Bourdain, whose book I'm currently reading, in preparation for the movie, actually ate it once upon a time. So, on his show. It did not sound good to me, though. I agree with that, Royal. I agree with that. What I am, AK, is handsome. See, I mean, I've never drank Yo Maple, but it wouldn't shock me. When I'm having, like, savory foods, I tend to really enjoy pop, like soda. When I'm having sweet foods, I really love coffee. Oh, actually, anchovies on pizza is delicious. My favorite pizza place is probably this place called Vicino's Pizza. I hope I'm getting the name correct, in Glenview, Illinois. And they have a really good pizza where they'll put anchovies on it, and it's really, really good. So, Visionary, being boring can be very being healthy can be very boring, but it's also very important, and you will thank yourself for it in future. I promise you. So it's worth it. Just take time. Remember what you're doing it for. Not just for yourself, but for your whole community. right? Get healthy because it makes the community a better place if everybody in it is healthy. I like this whole chat. Thank you, Anna. If you want to help me and keep supporting it and the Masonic Medical Research Institute, super chat, Patreon, share, comment. What about Zionist? I mean, CTG, Freemasonry is not a religion, nor is it political. Zionism is a political idea, and some Masons may support it, some Masons may not. I'm a member of a lodge in Israel, Tel Aviv, but I'm not a fan of the Israeli government. Visionary, I think like everything in life, it's about balance and moderation and talking to your doctor. But, you know, I think, like I said, you got to remember why you're doing it, to be a better part of the community and for yourself. I've never had turtle soup, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. I hear turtle tastes like chicken. Yes, I am a builder from Clash of Cans. Hello, Drax the Destroyer. We do look very similar, and I will take that as a compliment. Now, please hit the like and the subscribe button. I mean, I've done in my Masonic Lodge wine and cheese nights, virtual beer and cheese tastings, and virtual whiskey tastings, and I loved them all very much. I'd like to go back and do more of them if I could. Hey, you're Dave Bautista in real life, so yeah, I'm not going to argue with you. You could eat my lunch. You are much more handsome than me. CTG, degree level. I've never heard that before. I've heard degree and I've heard level, but not the two together. I am the highest degree in Freemasonry, which is the 3rd degree or Master Mason. I'm also 18th degree Scottish Rite. I'm also currently the Worshipful Master of my lodge, Border Cities Lodge, number 554. Sunset Tactical. Aegis, welcome. My name's Cameron. Are you new to the stream? I feel like I've seen your name before, but I can't think of where. Welcome, though. Please hit like and please hit subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Oh, I can't wear red shoes, Dilly, because I have no legs. So I have no feet on which to wear shoes. See? So I cannot wear these shoes of which you speak. Who is Max Prestige? I have no idea what's happening in the chat. At least we're no longer dealing with, well, Dilly, so, you know, in the, I was born without legs, so nothing happened to them, I just never had them. I was born missing them. AK Gamers, my favorite show, I've never heard of that show before. Light free, I mean, I'm definitely tired, but it's okay, it's going well. We got 20 people right now. I'm not doing it like a complete marathon without breaks, right? I'm going on and off, going to different streams, different platforms. I may do something on Instagram after this as well, because I want to make sure I try a few different things. CT, what I am is handsome. That's the most important thing. You can be a Freemason and be Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, whatever it might be. So Dilly, you know, within the story of the Odyssey, one of the things they mention is treat everybody well because you don't know who is or isn't a god. I would take that in a more literal sense to mean treat everybody well because you don't know when it's going to bite you in the ass. So you make a joke about shoes, you don't know if the person you're making a joke about shoes has no legs. So let that be a lesson. I don't mind, I'm fine with it, but please hit like and subscribe and don't worry about it. I mean, I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about a bunch of nonsense and social media conspiracies, which I'm not going to get into. You know, the whole androgen nonsense or whatever it's called. It's baloney, it's bullshit, but a lot of people unfortunately believe nonsense on social media. Thank you for the like. No, I'm not going to try my luck. I'm already here, and I get free drinks, and that's lucky enough. This is not communism. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notification bell, follow my other channels, and do a super chat. We are supporting the Masonic Medical Research Institute. 50% of all revenues raised will go to the MMRI. And thank you all for joining. No, not going to try any slots. I already get free coffee. Why would I try any slots?
Sorry, is that your Heineken right there?
Oh, no, sorry.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. When you get free coffee, there's no need to try. You already just take your you can already just take if you're already lucky, quit while you're ahead. You were banned because you told women to talk to you with respect because you're a man. That's nonsense. You're not that special. No misogyny nonsense. You weren't banned. You were just put in timeout. And you were picking a fight with some random person on the stream. Well, there you go, Yo Maple. The reason someone should treat you with respect is because you earned it, not because of your gender. And that is a Masonic lesson as well. No Mason would ever say, treat me with respect because I'm a man, especially to a woman. So why in a casino? Because I needed to get some well, first I was going to the river. And then it started to storm, and then I decided to run into the casino to get some free coffee and to try to, when you're doing these 24-hour streams, you got to keep moving and go to different spots. Otherwise, it gets boring for everybody. I don't believe in gender roles. Orthodoxy is cool. I believe you treat people the way you want to be treated, male or female. I don't wear shoes, Drax the Destroyer. I have socks. So, I mean, I would assume The Dead Don't Rest is a show about zombies. That is very true. At least that makes sense. Yes, and Anna is correct. Why do I wear socks? Because I don't want to be showing people my gross feet. I got to wear something. I'm not just out there raw footing it. That's the term we're going to use, raw footing things. I think many women could kick the living shit out of me, including if I had legs. I'm not getting into all of it. What I'll say is there are no gender roles on this stream. Men and women are treated equally on my channel and on my stream. But socks still fit over them. I mean, I've gambled in the past, light-free, but not for maybe like 3 or 4 years. I think the last time I gambled, I put $5 in a slot machine maybe 5 years ago. Didn't win anything, and then I just kept taking advantage of the free coffee. So, Dilly, I don't know, but I think they don't want to distort the truth. I think for a lot of them, what it is they're struggling in their lives in a variety of different ways, and believing conspiracies about Freemasonry helps make them feel more confident and helps make them feel like they're in control of their life, even if they're struggling. So modified car, you can get a modified car, and when I lived in Winnipeg, I actually did get a modified car. However, I haven't driven for a while. I just haven't found it to be of any use because public transportation in Ontario is decent and it's almost always accessible. And this goes to what I have talked about a lot of times in my streams. Like, we need to think about Freemasonry creating an accessible experience. And that accessible experience needs to come from the moment a brother leaves his house to the moment a brother returns to his house. And that includes, how does he get to the building? is there public transit, and is that public transit accessible? So if he is in a wheelchair or is mobility impaired, he can get around and get to where he needs to get to. It's important that we think about those things. Well, I mean, Ben, but they went down internet rabbit holes for a reason, right? Drax, by the way, did you like and subscribe yet? And Minotaur, thank you for being here. Don't forget, Minotaur, we are doing this stream in honor and in celebration of the Masonic Medical Research Institute. 50% of all funds raised during this stream will go to the MMRI, Masonic Medical Research Institute. So I hope that you guys will super chat, comment, gift, whatever it is to help out the channel. Yes, you do have to memorize things within Freemasonry and recite it or prove. If you want to develop memorization skills, believe me, Freemasonry is a great place to develop those skills. I don't know what that is, but no, I'm pretty sure not. As a general rule, Ben, no, there's not. Major, I've been doing a 24-hour content marathon. Thank you for the membership, Major General. Part of that means I got to keep moving. I'm about 12 hours in, but I need to go to another place where they had free coffee and free drinks. And Light Free is a member now. I like Dan Brown books as well. I love books at the Mason. I love Dan Brown books. I think they're incredible. And I don't mind when we are this subject of entertainment books and like pop culture. I'm perfectly fine with that. Fatty Cakes, calm down a bit. Gonna get yourself timed out. So Dilly, were you ever blindfolded by the temple? Maybe yes, maybe no. I never confirm or deny anything regarding Masonic rituals or Masonic ceremonies. What I will say, and what I always say, is there's nothing in a Masonic ceremony or ritual that is illegal, immoral, or against one's civic, religious, or moral responsibilities, or is unsafe. Beyond that, if you want to learn, if you want to find out, you got to join. We maintain the privacy of our rituals as a way to maintain the bonds of brotherhood. Absolutely, Light Free. I agree with that, and thank you for being here, Robert. Yeah, the Masonic Titanic conspiracies, I find them crazy. I don't believe Andrew Jackson was a Mason, Major Gen. I could be wrong. Actually, no, I think you're right. I think he was a Mason. I need to double check, but I believe he was. 15 or 16 American presidents were Freemasons. I always forget the list. I mean, George Washington, I know. I do believe Andrew Jackson. Theodore Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt, Harry Truman, LBJ, Ford, and others that I always forget. Tell me something not widely known about Masons. I will tell you this, and it's not widely known about Masons even by Freemasons. The Masonic Medical Research Institute out of Utica, New York, was founded in 1958 by New York Freemasons and has gone on since to do groundbreaking research as it relates to cardiovascular disease, neurocognitive disease, and autoimmune diseases, and in fact has been partially responsible for the creation of defibrillators and defibrillation. Yes, Yo Maple, see what I did there? No. So Freemasonry is about 350 years old. You can date it back to 1634. A lot would date it to 1717. I've never been creeped out by any Masonic ritual. Now, part of it is my dad was a Freemason, so I grew up kind of seeing Freemasonry, and I always assumed like it's a good group of guys who are trying to do well, and so I never felt I had any reason to be concerned, right? I never had some crazy, great, like, spiritual experience with Freemasonry either. I think that stuff is nonsense too. I enjoyed the rituals, but I viewed them as important for the bonding effect, more so than anything else. 1717, I mean, a lot of people use that as the date, June 24th, 1717. Well, the Shriners is an independent body in Freemasonry. To be a Shriner, you must first be a Freemason. And then you go from there. I'm not really sure what you mean used by people on TV, Pickle. People keep telling me there's Masonic hand symbols used by people on TV. I've never seen any evidence of it, so I'm not really sure what you're talking about. I do, yeah, that's my experience as well, Robert. People think read way too much into random hand signals. I don't know much about the Fabians. Novelty, women can be Freemasons. You have the Order of Women Freemasons. You have Eastern Star. And you also have Rainbow, which is for young women, ages 11 to 21, if I recall correctly. So women are an active part of Freemasonry in a variety of ways. I mean, Masons have great symbols, like famously, I think this is one of the most beautiful symbols ever, but, every group develops its own symbolism depending on a variety of circumstances, Masons draw okay. Yes, as Yo Maple points out, 50% of the proceeds from this entire 24-hour period, and that includes proceeds I make through Facebook, through Patreon, through memberships, will make their way to the MMRI. When you say doesn't draw very well, do you mean like we don't get a lot of people joining? We're working on it, but we don't get as many people joining as we could. That's for sure. I think you're thinking of Shriners. In that case, Drax the Destroyer. Shriners ride not the little bikes, well, some little bikes and little cars. So, Novelty, by the way, Novelty Mom, please hit like and subscribe. Dilly, you don't know that for a fact because it's wrong. We do not sacrifice humans or animals. We just sacrifice our time. So when you say church, like Freemasonry is not a church, neither is Eastern Star. It'd be a lodge. But if you're interested in joining Eastern Star, you should approach them and express your interest in joining. Eastern Star is a wonderful organization. I mean, you could be a Freemason and an elk or a moose. So long as you're not part of a group doing anything illegal or immoral, then sure, why not? You are welcome to be part of these different groups and organizations. I've heard that King Hussein was a Mason. He joined in London. I believe that is the case. A lot of times Freemasonry spread to the Middle East because people would leave, especially rich people. They'd leave, they'd study or live in England and join while there. Aleister Crowley was almost certainly a clandestine Mason and not a legitimate Mason. Right, he supposedly joined like a lodge in Mexico that no one had ever heard of. I think it was also Grand Orient. If I recall correctly, he joined he started the Lamech Society, I believe. Drax, I agree with you. You do take everything literally, so it makes sense that you would think Freemason is, somebody that needs to be freed literally. Or Golden Dawn, is that what he started? Maybe he started the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. He started one of those orders. I always forget which. Freemason indeed, Drax. Also, like and subscribe. Well, I mean, there are really no teachings, right? Like, Freemasonry's not a religion in that sense. I mean, like if a Masonic lodge were to start to do stuff that was wrong or bad, like, you do something illegal or immoral, they would lose their charter in their local jurisdiction, or they would lose recognition, and meaning we would not be able to visit them. How are you invited to join the temple? I was not invited to join the temple. I wrote a letter and asked to join. You don't have to be invited, nor should you wait for an invitation. I don't quite know where this, I'm not even going to call it conspiracy theory, but this misconception that you had to be invited, that's not how it works. If you want to be a Freemason, you should take the first step by approaching the lodge and expressing your interest in joining. No, and I know you don't need to be invited because I'm a Freemason and I was not invited. So no, Freemasonry is not the Illuminati, and the idea that it's only for men, that is quote unquote. I don't like this term, so forgive me for using it because it's not. I don't think it has the right connotation. This idea of it's exclusively for men is for like regular Freemasonry. But the truth is, Eastern Star is just as regular as any other type of Freemasonry, and Order of Women Freemasons is just as regular as well, and they are both wonderful and incredible organizations. So Novelty, thank you for being here. I'm grateful. Banshee, welcome. I think you could argue that the shoes are on both feet there, Banshee, but thank you for being here. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Well, you're not going to do witchcraft in Freemasonry, so you're going to be disappointed. We're freeing Mason from not having other people in his life. Nope, Freemasonry is not demonic and satanic. It is also not extremely demonic and satanic at the highest level or at any level. And I know this because I am at the highest level of Freemasonry, the 3rd degree. Novelty, I'm grateful for that. Thank you. Doctor asks, how old is my granny? 403 years old. I don't know what the most famous Freemason sports star is. I can tell you about probably Shaquille O'Neal, light free, I would think. I've said that a million times. Freemasonry would be great if not for the Freemasons, but that's true for everything. There's always going to be a shadow between the ideal and the implementation, because the ideal exists in the world of Plato's ideal forms. The implementation is up to men, and no man will ever be able to reach the perfection of the ideal. I'm not a 33rd, but I am a Mason. But my name is not Mason. Drax the Destroyer is just being a little bit trollish, but humorously so. So I don't mind. Orthodoxy, what does it matter whether you support me or not? Just don't be on the channel. I can say whatever I want, and you can do whatever you want. Whether you support me or not is irrelevant. No, I mean, unless I'm mistaken, Anne, I mean, you, at least for the last, 50, 60 years, you could be any faith and be a Freemason. And even before that, the rule was always you could be of any faith and background. Now, again, implementation versus ideal. Freemasons didn't always live up to those ideals. See Drax with the jokes about being literal. So that's interesting, Dr. Freak. I mean, I would actually maybe give that to you. In the sense that, yeah, you could argue a worshipful master is actually higher than a 3rd degree. or even an installing master. I wouldn't say past master for the record. But I think then the issue is, Dr. Freak, you are comparing apples to oranges, meaning degrees are different than offices. So the highest degree in Freemasonry is the 3rd degree. The highest office in Freemasonry is maybe the installing master, or the worshipful master. But it's not, and whether it be Knights Templar, I understand, and that's interesting as well, because clearly you maybe are of the view that the Knights Templar is the continuation of Craft Lodge. I don't believe that, though. I guess in the ancients versus moderns battle, I believe it would have been the ancients or the moderns position that Craft Lodge stops at 3rd degree, and that's as high as you can go. And the 4th degree above is appendant bodies, either York or Scottish Rite. But Dr. Freak, I mean, what you're saying is not wrong. I think it's just a disagreement in interpretation. No, Dill. And I wouldn't join any organization that asked me to spit on a Bible or on anyone's holy book. That's nonsense. And it's not a part of an organization I would join. We do sacrifice our mental health, and no, I don't want to destroy anything, including the Catholic Church. Okay, so, I mean, yeah, I think I love Taskmaster. Taskmaster is a great show. Dr. Freak, you're a 3rd degree as well. So again, I think it's just a difference in interpretation a little bit, how you want to view these things. But I'm not, I think it was the moderns. Actually, no, so I think it was the ancients who viewed York Rite as a continuation of the 3rd degree. I don't. And I think you can argue the highest office is installing master, but the highest degree is 3rd degree. Adding generally doesn't make it less incorrect. So what is my best insight into the architect? My best insight into the architect is rational and wants us to live in accordance with nature. I care about the Nerd Club. And so long as I care about the Nerd Club, I'm going to be here. Clandestine, Dr. Freak. I think you're trying to find the term clandestine. You might also mean irregular, but irregular is usually a different type of designation than clandestine. Yo Maple is absolutely correct. Major General, welcome. Oh, that's like asking why do you want your privacy if you have nothing to hide. So there's 3 explanations, Dilly Pickle. I'll give you the main one to start with. It is no different than having a family recipe. If your great-grandmother passed on a recipe for cookies to your grandmother, to your mother, to you, you're going to pass it on to your son, to his daughter, you maintain the privacy of that family recipe, not because there's anything illegal or wrong with your grandmother's cookies. You do it because maintaining the privacy of it is a way to maintain the bonds between past, present, and future generations of the family. And also, it's not your recipe to give. It belongs to the whole of the family. If I start giving away the recipe or our secrets, then suddenly I am giving away something that doesn't belong to me, that belongs to everybody. Our rituals and ceremonies, maintaining their privacy, helps ensure that we maintain the bonds of brotherhood. Beyond that, and on top of that, and in connection to that, I don't want to be giving out spoilers to the degrees. Learning about the degrees by going through them is far more important than having expectations. Happiness is reality minus expectation. And plus, if your friend asks you to keep a secret, I would expect you to respect his request without being judged. Because in the same way, why is, whether your grandmother makes cookies with chocolate chips or walnuts a secret? Because it's something unique about the ceremonies that I want to be known to Masons exclusively. I mean, there has been tensions for both sides, but I've been a Mason for 20 years. I've never seen any anti-Catholic tension within any Masonic lodges. And I would not be comfortable being part of a group that expressed anti-Catholic sentiment. Um, Deadpool, I think you'd be a great Tyler, by the way. No, but your family might have, like, why do you get to keep your family's recipe, right? Maybe it's a really good recipe. Maybe everyone deserves it. One thing you see is with fascism, right? I'm not saying you're fascist, dill pickle, but I think you do play into fascist ideas, because one thing you see with fascism is they don't want any private societies or private groups. They want every single relationship to be between the individual and the state. And the idea that people should be allowed to keep secrets between themselves or have private groups and private meetings is considered an attack on the control of the fascist government. So I think when you make assertions or assumptions based on people's desire to maintain their privacy, even within groups, you're playing into certain ideas of fascism. I'm not spitting on anybody. I'm not stepping on anything. You're hiding something. I mean, sure, you can use the term hiding. I use the term keeping things private. So are you, Dill. So is everybody. There's a good reason you're not going to put on this channel your bank account information, right? What's wrong with being a racist? I mean, I guess people have to answer that for themselves. I think the answer is self-evident, but I can tell you within Freemasonry, we welcome men of all different races, religions, races, religions, ethnicities, first languages, and that's something I really love about it. Well, Dr. Freak, there you go. Dr. Freak answering the question. I don't tell people. I prefer people find out as part of the ceremony, or even better, by talking to the lodge directly, not on YouTube. I don't think so, but I don't know for sure who David Koresh is. Isn't he the cult leader who murdered a bunch of people? In which case, no. If that's who I'm thinking of. I've never heard... I mean, I've heard of the Knights of the Golden Dawn. I don't think it's a cool club, if I'm remembering correctly. Wasn't it the Crowley Club? Like the cult? Well, then no. I'm not a fan of cults. And he was doing illegal things. Well, I mean, they... Like, Michael, I don't think they could. Like, I mean, I can't speak for every religion. But the fact that I've sat in lodge with Muslims, with Jewish people, with Christians of different sects and denominations, with Hindus, with people like myself who believe, in a very specific kind of idea, with Wiccans, W-I-C-C-A-N. I mean, I'm not sure if you're religious. I believe Freemasonry has been set up in such a way that it's not going to conflict with anyone's religious beliefs. Now, I think Freemasonry in some circumstances can conflict with people's political beliefs. So, for example, I don't think a Nazi would be able to join Freemasonry, because the fact that we as Freemasons welcome men of all different faiths, backgrounds, and beliefs, while the Nazis would not, would not make it work. But that's a uniquely political situation. Mardi Gras is a good point, Robert Heaton. I've never met any satanic Freemasons. Well, Orthodoxy, I mean, it's not Koresh's religious beliefs, it's his criminal activities, right? He was keeping a cult and was being raided by the FBI. If you belong to, let's say, a Christian church, but it turns into a cult for some reason and the FBI raids your church, not going to welcome you in either. It's not the religious beliefs, it's the cultish behavior. Deadpool, some rules are necessary. I mean, I've never met a satanic Freemason, though, Dr. Freak. Like, what I'll say is at one point, I had a Satanist call my Masonic lodge, express his interest in joining. But when I met with him and talked to him about what Freemasonry was and is, he's told me he didn't think Freemasonry would comply with his beliefs, and he decided not to join. Also, to my knowledge, a Satanist doesn't really believe in a supreme being other than the supreme being is himself. And that does, I think, make it hard to justify being able to join. Because I do think your supreme being needs to be something outside of yourself, at least a little bit. Otherwise, it kind of makes the obligation not useful. Not really major. I mean, some people will say to make good men better. Some people will say, the motto is brotherly love, relief, and truth. But I'm not a big fan of mottos in Freemasonry. No, puppeteer. Joining Freemasonry does not make you rich or famous. Yeah, I mean, very often you see that novelty mom. Not all the time, but very often. The signs and town entrances, or town signs, which I think is a sign of a reduction in Freemasonry. So I believe in a supreme being. My supreme being, Dill Pickle, is the rational nature of the universe as expressed through science and as expressed through geometry. Larry Derry, please hit like and subscribe. Deadpool, with all your chats, you better hit like and subscribe. Well, I mean, some would say it's equality, fraternity, liberty, but those are important things within Freemasonry, but it's not a model. I'm not a Satanist because I don't believe the supreme being is myself. I believe the supreme being is the rational nature of the universe as expressed through science and geometry. Well, Puppet, I mean, certainly it sounds like your grandfather was a Freemason was a scumbag. And, all right, let's go to this guy. And, thank you, good catch. Unfortunately, or fortunately, right, define the version of it. Freemasonry, unfortunately, is made of human beings. And human beings don't always do the right thing. And sometimes mess up, and sometimes do really terrible things. And Freemasons are no different. I wish I could say we were. I believe if you follow the ethics of Freemasonry, you will be a good person. But human beings don't always follow the ethics of Freemasonry. And it sounds to me like he let Freemasonry down, he let himself down, and he let you down. So I'm very sorry that happened. But humans are flawed, as Light Free said. Isaiah, not lost any money. I've actually made money because I get free drinks here. Well, thank you for subbing, Josie Juniper. Much obliged. Yes, don't speak about others. Well, I mean, yes, don't speak about others in the chat. It's a good rule of thumb, especially when I tell you not to. Oh my gosh, Dill Pickle, that's a very long question. And the short answer is not as much as I should, but I guess I've fallen short in a lot of circumstances in my life. Right now I'm helping my brothers through this channel by donating 50% of the proceeds to the Masonic Medical Research Institute. I visited brethren in the hospital when they've been sick. I've assisted some brethren financially when I could. But mostly what I do is I help maintain the Order of Freemasons, which has been shown to provide mental, physical, and, if you want to use the term, spiritual well-being and help to many men, many brothers, and many communities. Today's stream is a good example. I could always do more and do better, but I've done my best. I am in a casino. I needed to get some free coffee, and I needed to try to get a little bit of a break from being in those same spot all the time. To do these 24-hour content marathons, you definitely have to be moving around a fair bit. I don't think so, but I think that that's not me exclusively, that's everybody. But I do think this channel helps Freemasonry in a variety of ways. No, Forrest, please like and subscribe. We do not do that. I mean, Freemasons may speak the word of Jesus if they are Christian. If they're Muslim, I suppose they'll speak the word of Allah. Puppet, Freemasonry has no money. We're not rich and famous. You know, we have benevolence to help brothers who may not be doing well. And that has happened in the past, but you need to be a Freemason first. It sounds suspiciously like you're confusing Freemasons with artificial intelligence. Light free, some like it, some don't like it, and that's okay. You know, I'm happy to have Masons disagree with me. No two Freemasons think alike. So I'm not religious, right? My belief, I believe, my supreme being, I don't believe in the supernatural, but my supreme being is the rational nature of the universe as expressed through science and as expressed through geometry. Maybe we have interesting handshakes, Anna. I never confirm nor deny. If you're joining for the sake of getting money, you shouldn't join Freemasonry. Freemasonry is not, a charity per se. It can help people financially, but you have to actually pay money to join first, so you're not going to get any benefit from it. I would say most Freemasons are Christian. Yeah, most, but definitely not all, by any means. And that is something that you need to keep in mind as well. There is no such thing as a Freemason job. I mean, you could argue maybe I have a Freemason job in that I create content about Freemasonry. Jeff, I'm here to get free coffee and free drinks, so I'm not gambling at all. I'm making money. Freemasons have no money. And Freemasonry is very not sus. Sorry, when you say how much, Novelty Mom, do you mean how much does it cost to join? It depends. There is no set cost. Each lodge sets its own cost. So I'm a member of 5 Masonic lodges. The cheapest Masonic lodge, my dues are $25 per year. The most expensive Masonic lodge, it's $175 per year. And that's going to go up to $250. We do not live post-scarcity anything orthodoxy. Sorry, Joe, you're confusing us with operative Freemasons, right? There's operative Freemasonry and speculative Freemasonry. Operative Freemasonry build walls, and they're not working for free, nor should they. But Novelty, I don't want to get your hopes up, because if you're living in, let's say, New York, like Manhattan, your dues could be as much as $600 per year. It really just depends on where you're living and the cost of living there and the cost of renting space. Thank you, Major General. I'm very sorry I don't have the text-to-speech app up right now, but I'm grateful for that. Thank you. Missouri, I think Missouri is a little bit cheaper than New York probably, so you'll probably be okay. Tyler, because I'm so handsome and I have such a big brain. What I sound confessional is handsome. Nope, I never put any blood into it, and I'm not taking any blood out of it. Yes, Anna, because I'm smart. Thank you for that. Although many people would disagree quite strongly with that. I'll take the term zesty. Jeff, whether I'm Jewish or not is irrelevant. Yeah, and I mean, the idea of being a Mason, like to get business or to network, I mean, I'm not super opposed to that. I don't get shirty about it the way others do, but it's not really a helpful thing. Like, Like, you're not, like, Freemasonry is declining in membership so much that, like, I would not recommend joining for networking purposes. There's better options out there. And yes, 50% of it does go. Rob, hazing is not cool. If anybody was hazing you, you should contact the Grand Lodge and the police. But keep in mind, it could have been a clandestine body as well. What do you mean by providence in Freemasonry? Like religious providence? There is no Masonic families. I do hear a lot of like conspiracies around like, oh, the 13 original families or something. That's not part of Freemasonry. That's not what Freemasonry is about. Or a boot, if you prefer. Well, I donate 50% of the total revenues after YouTube takes its share. So right now, there's a $2.76 super chat. The MMRI gets $1.36 of that. I think I did the math correct. I have hats, but my head is very handsome. No, Freemasonry is not occultist programming, and it's not twisting anyone's words. And it does not put witchcraft into practice, and it does not have any bloodlines of the beast. So you're wrong across the board. DATGS. Please like and subscribe anyways. And follow my channel. I would be much obliged. I cannot teach you Satanism, nor can any Freemason. At least as a Freemason. Well, I mean, it's almost 3 in the morning, so it's very light at the moment. I mean, that's just human nature, Dr. Freak, right? Not every Mason is good, just like not every plumber is good, just like not every member of a sports team is good. But I do believe if you're following your Masonic, if you're following the Masonic ethics, you will be good, at least a good neighbor, a good friend, a good citizen, and a good brother. But you have to put the work in. It's like being a member of a gym. Being a member of a gym does not guarantee you'll be healthy. Showing up to the gym and putting the work in, that guarantees you'll be healthy. Or healthier. Healthy is a relative term, right? You can be healthier than you were yesterday. Dancing Lobster? Jordan Peterson fam, any chance? Because, welcome. I mean, Freemasonry has parallels with Gnosticism, but Freemasonry is not Gnostic. Banshee, I haven't gambled, but I have got free coffee and free pop, so I have came out ahead. There you go. I'm making 20 now, but it's worth it for a great cause, the Masonic Medical Research Institute. Well, I think, Dill, that's a very insanely broad term. Because by that thing, and also what do you mean by not believing in God? I mean, I'm assuming you mean your God, but by that context, you know, every Muslim, Jewish person, Wiccan, spiritualist, pagan, indigenous First Nations would all be satanic, and that seems insane to me. So, Orthodox Christian, there you go. Yes. I've been telling Orthodoxy is cool that I know Orthodox Masons and I know Catholic Masons, and he doesn't believe me, so there you go. As Major General says, take your pick. Yeah, I know Wiccan Freemasons. They actually took their obligation with Jules for their volume of the Sacred Law. You can believe that, Mr. Tyler, but it was accepted, so what can I tell you? You're too late. I mean, if you had, you know, been, if you had been, in the lodge, maybe you could have advocated differently. Whoa. We're not going to have anybody calling anybody else fake. So you need to calm down, FDR. We're going to put you in a bit of a timeout for a second. We don't get to judge other people's religious beliefs, at least not on this channel. Um, and Dill, I'm not a Satanist, but you can believe I am if you want. I'm not one who's Christian, right? I don't believe in Satan per se, but, other people may, and that's perfectly fine. Well, I think active versus not active. I mean, there are Catholics who are active and inactive. There's Protestants who are active and inactive. Well, it's too late. He's already timed out. One thing we always focus on in this channel, and I take the Masonic approach to this, right, is your religious beliefs are yours. And I'm not going to call anybody fake or have anybody judge the other's religious beliefs, right? Like, it is what it is. I don't think it's healthy or helpful. And whoa, orthodoxy. I want to be really careful about this stuff as well. Let's avoid too many personal questions, because that could be considered doxing. Like, I'll tell you what church I was baptized in. Actually, I don't know. But I know I was baptized as an infant in Winnipeg at an Anglican church. We just want to avoid doxing, right? So I don't mind if he wants to answer that, but I want to be careful. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know the difference, Greek Orthodox or Russian Orthodox. Yeah, I was baptized when I was an infant. Like, actually, it's funny. I just went back home recently, and I was looking at a photo album, and the photo album had a copy of my baptism invitation, which was sent out to family. And was pictures of my baptism. So I think it's baptism. Where's a communion? I always forget which is which, because I think, if I recall correctly, it's like Catholics are baptized and Anglicans have communion, or I forget how it works. We lost my lighter. It sucks to lose your lighter. Please hit like and subscribe. Michael, thank you for being here, and thank you for telling me God bless. We lost my lighter. It's great to be having 21 people on this stream after going through these multiple streams, this content marathon. Christening, that's the word I was thinking of. Yes, baptism or christening. Oh, if there's an Orthodox church in my town, I'd 100% go. Just a bunch of Protestants and Baptists around here. I have no idea, Anna. I'm not a religious expert, so I do not know what the difference is. But I do believe there is a difference between the two. Dill, I can't tell if you're making a joke or not about me having no legs. If you are, that's very funny, and I would take that as a joke. If you're not, you're not completely wrong. When it comes to religion, I don't have a leg to stand on. I can only tell you what I am, which is not a Satanist, and that Freemasonry is not satanic. And that's not based on my knowledge of religion, it's based on my knowledge of Freemasonry. Okay, cool. I always thought that christened and baptism were different based on your faith. So if you were like an Anglican, you were christened, and if you're a Catholic, you're baptized. Okay, that's really interesting. I would say my favorite story ever about baptism is from Lost, where Mr. Echo is talking about it. And somebody says, to their understanding, the point of baptism is to get you into heaven. And Mr. Echo responds, when John the Baptist baptized Jesus, it is said that a dove flew from heaven and came to earth, but heaven itself for Jesus did not come many years later. So maybe it's as much about what happens here on earth as the next life. So Wayne, I don't want to recruit anybody, nor do I want to fool anybody. I want to talk about why I love Freemasonry, why I think it's valuable to the world, and I want to turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession. That's good enough for me. And that's all I need. The rest is kind of up to everybody to decide for themselves. Right? I'm not trying to recruit, as Yo Maple points out. And thank you, Yo Maple, for pointing that out as well. I truly appreciate it. Dr. Freak, I don't know what that means. Where's your granny from? I think you're trying to ask me how old my granny is. And my grandmother is 403 years old. The East? Is that what you're trying to say? I've usually heard the term grandmother as it relates to age. I don't know if that's a term I've not heard before otherwise. But my grandmother is 403 years old. Well, that's chrismation, which could be different than christening. So I've never been a big fan of the whole call and response thing. To me, it's just, if I know somebody's a Mason, I'll just ask them, are you a Mason? And then ask for a dues card, because that's the most important thing. I've shown my dues cards on this channel in the past. Once again, Dr. Freak, you mentioned you're a Freemason. Let me ask you, did you ever hear of the Masonic Medical Research Institute? And if you have, what do you know about it? I was a probation officer, but I'm not currently. Which probation officer was a type of peace officer. The Masonic Medical Research Institute is a research institute founded in 1958 by New York Masons. At the time, it was founded to support the elimination of rheumatic diseases. As of right now, it has 3 main research areas: cardiovascular disease, neurocognitive disease, or neurocognitive conditions, and autoimmune diseases. It does research for lupus, heart disease, PTSD. It is funded primarily, but not exclusively, through Freemasons, and remains a valuable part of our Masonic charitable efforts and Masonic family. And 50% of all of the resources, or 50% of all the revenues from this stream, will be donated to the Masonic Medical Research Institute. Dr. Freak, I agree with you on that one, and it drives me crazy. I wish more people knew that the Freemasons were, that to be a Shriner, you must first be a Freemason. Dr. Freak, I agree with you on that one. I find it crazy as well. I wish more people recognized that Freemasons, that the Shriners were Freemasons. I think it's a shame that people don't. What do you think? Get more coffee? I think I need more coffee, or at least more drinks. All this talking is challenging. A Shriner is a member of an appendant body within Freemasonry. Shriners, children's hospitals. The guys who ride around on the little cars, it's an independent body. It was kind of a hail fellow, well met approach to Freemasonry. Well, Wayne, it is godly to help your neighbor, and it's godly to help your friend, and it's godly to try to cure diseases, all of which the Masonic Medical Research Institute does. And if nothing else, you're supporting me. Maybe hello to you as well, Rich. Thank you for being here. Please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button. I would be much obliged. You could donate to St. Jude's. Orthodoxy, I'm sure they do great work. I don't know much about them, but when I see children and hospital, I think donation is probably a wonderful thing. Um, he wasn't telling you, he was telling everybody, and I have no problem with him saying it. Donate to St. Jude's Children's Hospital is perfectly fine, and I would support that. I mean, I would be hesitant about that, Dr. Freak. I mean, every Grand Lodge has their own charitable foundations and charitable aims, right? Like in Ontario, the focus is on, it was on Ronald McDonald's house. And at my local area, the hospice, both of which are, I think, awesome and well-deserving charities. I mean, others will choose different charities. Like every Grand Master tends to pick a particular charity that he wants to focus on. Well, Dr. Freak, I mean, you need to be careful and make sure that our Grand Lodges are using the money appropriately. Yes, because I was traveling around getting some free coffee. And when I'm doing these 24-hour content marathons, believe me, I need to keep moving. Charles, I got a big 5 head indeed. Please like and subscribe. Wayne, why you gotta be that way? Why can't you just be cool? You know? We're going to be ending this stream shortly for a couple of reasons. First, my phone is slowly losing power. Second, I need to go to the washroom like crazy. And third, I need to get more coffee. When I come back to you, don't be telling me what to do, Orthodoxy. When I come back, I'm probably going to be at the river finally. It's in Utica, Anna. Yes, it's in Utica, New York. Right now, Orthodoxy, you really need to calm down. You're getting yourself in a timeout once again. Or else what, Orthodoxy? Now I'm curious as to what the or else might be. That's always a challenge, Dr. Freak, and that's a challenge for anything in life, right? Which is not just charities, but nonprofits and other groups. It's like, how do you balance, which money goes to the outreach, which money goes to the staff? You need staff at some point. I mean, Wayne, I appreciate the subbing, so that's a weird way to put it. I appreciate you subbing, whatever reason. I mean, Dr. Freak, that's a complicated... I mean, I'm not so sure I agree with you on that one. I mean, what I want is, I want my Grand Lodge officers to be focused 100% of their time on Freemasonry. If they're not getting paid for it, then they either have to be independently wealthy or retired and on pension, and also not have to deal with the expenses of travel. Like, Orthodoxy is cool and I disagree on most things. I agree with Orthodoxy is cool on this one, though. Like, Freemasonry is not a charity, but keep in mind, whether you're a charity, nonprofit, or whatever it is, you're probably going to be more effective if you have full-time employees. Do it for the love of Freemasonry, or the love of oneself, not for the love of Satan, obviously. Randy, I'm not a fan of Benjamin Netanyahu. That's my personal opinion. That's a political question. And Freemasonry is apolitical. Some Masons are going to be supporters of Benjamin Netanyahu. Some are going to be against it. It just is what it is. I can tell you I'm a member of a Masonic Lodge in Israel, in Tel Aviv, but I'm not a fan of Benjamin Netanyahu myself. We are not trying to become God. I don't want to become God. I'm happy to just be me. We do cool things, like have dinners and other community things, though. I do think Orthodoxy is cool has taken way too much of his understanding of Freemasonry from social media and also incorrect people in the community telling him what Freemasonry is incorrectly. But hey, he's here now, so that's something. So Anna, yes, I would come back after my break. What I am going to do is go to my Instagram for a minute, because I want to do this across multiple streams. No, Alex Jones is not right. I was also on my personal account. So, you know, keep that in mind. No, we've never human trafficked. Freemasons don't human traffic. I'm sure individual Freemasons have trafficked humans. There's a famous story of the Jesters, but that's because Freemasons are human beings and some of us are not good people. But we do our best to be good. And honestly, if we let somebody into Freemasonry who turns out not to be a good person, that means that A, we did not do a good job in guarding the West Gate, and B, we as Freemasons should contact the police and turn them over to the authorities. I do have Facebook, Square Compass Essex and Cameron.Adamson.14. I think the Georgia Guidestones have nothing to do with Freemasonry. Robert, he may have been a Freemason. It's very questionable. The day before he left office, he was given he was made a Mason on site by the Prince Hall Masons of South Carolina. Whether he was, you can put Itchy Cheeseburger in a timeout. Let's put him in a bit of a timeout here. Yes, a lot of my stuff is downstairs, but Cameron.Adamson.14 or Square Compass Essex. You can find me on Facebook. Please add me. I'm also monetized there. They do. I mean, Illuminati doesn't exist, right? It was started by Adam Weishaupt in 1776. It hasn't existed forever. Well, I mean, whether Biden is or not is a matter of debate. I actually like Biden. He was my favorite president of my lifetime. But, you know, first of all, to be made a Mason on site is highly disputed. Beyond that, Prince Hall of South Carolina is not a well-recognized Masonic body. On top of that, there's a heavy question as to whether he knew that he was being made a Mason on site. I mean, if you hand somebody a plaque, you know, and take a picture with them, they have to still know what's going on. So, I would call him a Mason, but I don't think he would consider himself a Mason. Orthodoxy, you should not proceed. Focus on your own age. Caleb, I am, because I am taking a bit of a break from my place. When I'm doing all this marathon streaming, you need to be moving around. Whoa, Mr. Tyler, let's calm down with that. I mean, I've known people who have been riddled with cancer, and I can tell you, it's not a punishment for anything they've done in this life. It's just a really crummy situation. So you're getting put in a timeout for that one. So, yeah, but I mean, if you just search Square and Compass Promotions, Anna, you should find it. Use the symbol, Square symbol Compass Promotions, and you should find it. You should recognize this symbol. It's, you know, facebook.com/Square Compass Essex. All one word. I have met WWE wrestlers because I am a professional wrestler. Actually, I'm a professional wrestling referee. And I've been lucky enough to meet some absolutely incredible wrestlers. Not like I don't sit and talk to them much. I want them to focus on their matches. But I am a professional wrestling referee. In fact, I was in a movie about professional wrestling referees. Nope, Orthodoxy, your own age. Called The Ref Didn't See It. I was really proud of that. So I think the ref didn't see it is available on a few free streaming services, like Fawsome, I think, Fawesome. Which is something I really love. Thank you, Anna. That's incredibly kind. Also, you can find my personal YouTube channel. It's facebook.com/Cameron.Adamson.14. There we have no weapons task force, Maverick. You're on your own. No, I don't think he's still there. I think he might just be sleeping. It's 3 in the morning right now. I'm not in Vegas. I'm at Caesars Windsor. I've never been to Cathedral St. John, but I'd love to be. We're going to give this another, let's say, 5 minutes. Then I'm ending this stream. Then I'll be back on. I'm going to go onto my Instagram for a couple and do a reel. And then I'll be back on this stream shortly thereafter. Maybe around 4 or so. Rick Charles, what are you doing up this late? Thank you for being here. I love this song, by the way. Rick Charles, I'm doing a special stream celebrating the Masonic Medical Research Institute. So if you ever wanted to support the channel, you know, $1, $2, $5 super chat, that money or half of it is going to MMRI. And good to see you again. Orthodoxy is sometimes well behaved. Yes, fool, Death Tower. In fact, I just walked across it, /wheeled across it. Yeah, Mr. Tower, you need to calm down with this stuff. It drives me crazy. I'm not a big fan of the constantly beefing with Orthodoxy is cool. I have my beef with Orthodoxy is cool, but I will deal with those. Yes, Fool Death Tower. The bridge is open. I wheeled across it, and it was awesome. And I posted about it on my socials. Don't be calling Mr. Tyler a goofus, though. That'll get you in a timeout, Miss Orthodoxy. In fact, if you say that again, you will get a timeout. None of that. Just focus on me. You can call me goofy, and I'll call you goofy or wrong, but you're not going to call each other that. As Yo Maple points out, facepalm. It's way too late for this. So Fool Death Tower, find my channel and find my video of me crossing the bridge. It was really fun. All right, we're putting people in timeout. Not that it matters, because I'm going to be ending this stream soon anyways, but you know, again, next thing I'm going to do is probably go onto my Instagram for a couple, and then I'll jump back on this stream. I'm not sure quite when, maybe around 4, we shall see. Dr. Freak, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you thought the information is valuable. And again, Rich, send me an email. If you already did, I'll find it, and I'll send you the links. I don't know right now, though. I don't have any contact information for Freemasonry in Uganda. But as soon as I can find something, I'll let you know. Thank you, Anna. Thank you for following me on Facebook. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all the support. All right, I'll be back soon. But let's try some other stuff. Let's take a break. Let's move around a bit. Deus Volt indeed. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon.